Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family. Welcome to Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, where the power of spirit is ever present and we embrace an interfaith perspective. It's good to see familiar and new faces in our congregation, and we also say a big hello to everyone joining us live on YouTube and Facebook. It's a pleasure to introduce our guest medium today and a very good friend of mine, Robin Hodson, President of Seaford Spirit Independent Spiritualist Centre in Seaford, Sussex. So please give him a very warm welcome as he opens our service in prayer. Thank you, brother.
So good morning, everyone. Just join me in a moment's prayer. Divine and infinite Spirit, as we join together today, let us know that we are joining in love. Whether we're here in the room or joining virtually, we ask that we understand the commonality of spirit, that will help us to remove barriers, to help us to look at our fellow man, look at our fellow woman, and be as one. As we open this service, we send out our thoughts of love and healing to each and every one in the room and those joining us. We ask that all that is said and done here this morning is in and through your name, that it be delivered with truth and humility, but most of all with love. Amen.
Thank you, Robin. Now, please join me to still our hearts and minds as we pray for all those people, children and animals in need of spiritual healing, love and light across the planet, in places of war and conflict, nations affected by natural disasters, everyone involved in rescue operations and foreign aid. Our National Health Service, the selfless doctors and nurses who work tirelessly for our well-being. We pray for peace in our time and the abolition of atrocities and violence, and we thank the power of the Holy Spirit for giving us strength and hope in times of despair and doubt. We include at this time the following names from our church healing list: Sheila, Penny, Wendy, Linda, Roger, Vampire the cat, Huckleberry the dog, Jay McKenna, Pat Ward, Malcolm, Mandy, Anne Johnson, Reese Lawler, Irene Smith, Jeanette, Jean, Florence, Norma, Cy, Lisa, Dean Ward, Lee, Paul, Marcia, Maureen, Sue Bailey, Ruby Robinson, Kevin, Rita, Eddie Renshaw, Chris Malcolm, Malcolm Cohen, Anne Hopkins, Stephen Hawkins, Cherie, Carol Burgess, Lee Oswald, Kine Evanson, Britt Johnson, Daphne, Ivor, Louise, Rachel, Kelly, Megan, Lou the dog, Isabel, Mark, Iris, Rita, Sylvie, Dean Ward, Janice Robinson, Alan Borrett, who has made his transition to spirit, Keith Robinson, and Jeremy. We now move our attention into the healing silence, to be followed by the serenity prayer, which we will say together. And please refer to the handouts if you have one. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Can I now please ask Terry to take the offertory in church? Anyone wishing to make a free will donation may do so on the following link, which is also listed on our Wimbledon Spiritualist Church Facebook pages: www.paypal.com/LADPROMS. That's www.paypal.com/LADPROMS. Thank you, Terry. Today, and at each of my subsequent sharing services, I'm selecting a piece of spiritual philosophical text that exemplifies one of spiritualism's traditional 7 principles, but which in the case of Wimbledon Spiritualist Church extends to 15 in number, as we have, in keeping with their original essence, expanded and broadened the existing principle to encompass a wider and contemporary perspective, as in the case of our 14th principle, the fatherhood of God and a practical brotherhood of man. As my previous reading covered the fatherhood of God, this morning's offering, relating to a practical brotherhood of man, is taken from the Living Word of St. John by White Eagle, Spirit Guide of Medium Grace Cook, and entitled The Blooming of the Rose. A rose is called the flower of love, and often used as a token of love. The human heart, like the rose, can turn towards the sun, towards the blessing of the light, and receiving can expand in wisdom and understanding. There is so much behind and within the teaching of Jesus that only the heart can understand. For 2,000 years, men and women have been seeking understanding on the mental plane, at the mental level, but seeking largely in vain. There have been those, however, who have not only read the ancient scripts, but who have entered the inner sanctuary to meditate and absorb the light. There they have found truth, but truth can only be found when the heart is selfless at the time of meditation, and when it so aspires that the outer life also becomes selfless with thought only for the needs of others. In such a one, the rose starts to bloom and shed its fragrance through the life. Centuries after, the world acclaims such people as saints, as elder brethren, as masters. A master is one who has attained mastery over the lower self and on every plane of being. Such mastery arises from strength of spirit, which is love. Love is the power by which a master works his or her white magic. The greatest power in this world or the next is love. And love is power. Love is wisdom. Wisdom, love, and power are inseparable. 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. Love is the link which binds and yet gives complete freedom. When applied, it never fails, no matter what the difference and the difficulty a problem may confront the soul. When in doubt, fear, anxiety, in sickness, or when death draws near, the key to freedom, the key to heaven itself, is love towards God. As we have said, love is the greatest power on earth, the greatest power in heaven. Jesus possessed the power of love, real love in his heart. He knew that love was the law of the universe, supreme over all. So he could say with tranquility, "You have no power to hurt me." Here is the great truth we all have to grasp. For when love reigns supreme and radiates from the heart, there is nothing on earth or in the plains beyond which can hurt the soul. If someone acts from the heart of love towards God and towards their brother, they have nothing to fear, no matter how adverse their circumstances. If you live by love, all will come right in the end. Love is supreme over all. Do your best, act from the heart of love, which means putting into practice the divine law in your life. And you may have confidence in God that all will be well. O Father, Mother God, make clean our hearts within us so that we may see the vision of the true life which thou wouldst have us live. May we be filled with the light of the Christ Spirit and dwell in peace with our brother, sister. Thus may we know thy peace always. Amen. And now I would like to invite Robin to give us today's address. Thank you.
So, good morning. I ask you, why are you here? Is it here because, are you here because you just want a connection, a message? Are you here because the tea is good? What's the reason you come here? We are here, hopefully, as spiritualists, seeking the truth that was set down 175 years ago, trying to find a way through this perhaps difficult time. And I hear so often people say, what's going on in the world, when they see challenges brought by powers that be, brought by difficulty between men. And the first thing they ask is, what part do I play in this? And that's a good question, because I don't think any one of us has the power to change the whole world. And that can be overall. It can mount up and we can start to worry that, what part do I play? We have to look at a smaller distance, a smaller world. We have to start to look at our own little world. When we believe and accept the existence of spirit, that sets us on a journey of self-discovery. Who am I in this world? What part do I play? What part does those who I come into connection with, what part do they play? What is this purpose? Ultimately, there is only one purpose in this life, and that is your own self-progression. We're here on a journey. Perhaps we don't understand where the journey is leading. Perhaps we don't understand how many stops the bus is going to make. But we're on a journey of discovery. And once we start to discover ourselves, once we start to understand that path of learning towards perfection, I want to say, once we understand that, things start to fall into place. But you see, once we understand that, then comes responsibility. Because we have to understand that we do play a part in this world. And it's not only the leaders of our world that rule, that make things as they are. We also have a part. Once we've accepted that spirit within, and we start to look at others in the same way, barriers start to fall down. Those barriers brought by language, geography, gender, call it whatever, those barriers fall around when we start to look at the commonality of spirit. We start to look at ourselves. We start to look at the life we lead and how purposeful it is. We start to get reason and answers for the events of the day, week, month. We start to become at one with ourselves. But there's something else going on at the same time. when we are meeting in our churches, conversing over tea, talking to others outside, there's something else happening, because we are going through a process of refining ourselves. We heard in the reading talk of that light within. How does that shine? We first have to recognize it. And we can call it that light within, we can call it that spirit within. It doesn't matter what name we give it. What we need to know is the purpose is this refinement. And we all come into this world perhaps with a blank slate, but we also come into this world with the knowledge at the time and place that we've chosen to be here, to enjoy or suffer the conditions that this lifetime will bring. But ultimately, once we accept that we are of spirit, it changes this physical aspect of life into just a temporary phase. If we say we come from spirit and we return back to spirit, it then makes this very small, short piece in the middle just a temporary phase. And if it is a temporary phase, that makes it all the more precious, because we know that one day soon, and that soon might be today, it might be 30, 40, 50 years hence, but soon we will have that call to go back from where we are. All I ask is you understand that you will step back differently from once you've stepped in. And the experiences that you've endured, the experiences that you've met and responded and acted and reacted to, make that light shine even more. Make you that person that was meant to be here, that was meant to play a part in how this world, your own world, ran. Martin Luther King said once, "Darkness cannot overcome darkness. Only the light can do that." And I think that's a marvelous example of recognition of that light within. That light within, that we have a choice whether we exemplify it. It says we must use the light within ourselves to assuage the darkness we witness today. So it's no good calling at the television, shouting for change. Let that light shine a little brighter and see what a difference it makes. If it only makes a difference in our viewpoints, how we view things, then the world is changed. If it allows us to use love instead of hatred, then we've changed. You see, ultimately, all of the emotions of the physical life are there for us to choose. Which one will you choose? It says, when we can find and admit that light, we too can overcome the best petty darkness we often encounter, the injustices and the cruelty. This is using your knowledge in a way that it was meant to. If I asked if you ever employed a carpenter, would you expect him to use his knowledge of wood? Yes, you would. If you employed an electrician, would you ask him to use his knowledge of electrics? Yes, you would. So once you start to understand who yourself is, you understand this acceptance of spirit, then that is knowledge, just as important as the carpenter or the electrician, that we can use every day. Each day brings us challenge, but each day brings us opportunity to demonstrate that love, which is the power of all life. We view the world and we react according to that world. How do we react? How do we allow that perhaps hatred, perhaps difficult side of our nature to come forth, only because we haven't recognized the real worth of that spirit within. I sat here 2 minutes ago, and the church is in quite a busy area. And I listened to a couple of birds that were just outside, full of song. Were they worried about what was going on in the world? Or were they just on a pathway of life? Sometimes we have to withdraw and step back from the difficulties and just go within and know that if we accept that we are of spirit first, that surely should give us some understanding that whatever happens, I and you will survive. We may be tested, we may be made more strong, but ultimately we'll survive. And then we start to look at perhaps the things that have tested us. It's often been told to me that perhaps sometimes those tough days are the days we learn most. Those tough days are the days that we come to terms with things. We can't just come into a church and say, well, I only go for the messages. That doesn't bring forth the philosophy that is behind this truth. There is a basic philosophy of spiritualism that gives us guidelines for life. I was told one day that spiritualism is all about death. Why do you dwell in death? And I told this particular student what I exactly thought, how knowledge of spirit had changed my ways, changed my life, changed who I thought I was. He eventually came up to me afterwards and said, you're right, it really is about life. It's about the life we have here. It's not about what will happen in spirit. It's about what we have here. It's a guidebook for us to learn. It's a guidebook to help us through the difficulties. Mediumship is simply the support act. It's to give us enough support to know that the philosophy is true. So it's hoped that every time you come into this church, you receive a message. And that message is very simple. It can't be made any more simple than life continues. And if it stays as just those words, which you take home and forget about for another week, then that's your choice. But if you take that truth and start to apply it to life, then that philosophy becomes live, it becomes vital, it becomes part of life. And only then does spiritualism come to life. So I ask you to think of that. Think of this process that you're going through, that you're understanding, that you're accepting of spirit. But think of what it's doing to you. It's actually turning up the brightness on the light within. It's getting you to realize and understand the importance or the dominance of spirit. You know, we'll all get to the end of the road and we will have overcome, or we have witnessed much in our life. How we view it is the most important part. I went through a stage 15 years ago. Within a space of 3 weeks, I had lost the job that I'd loved for 34 years. My mum died, and I had a heart attack. I could have taken that as a really dark time and said, why me? But you know, my belief, my understanding of spirit said to me, this is a new beginning. This is a new start. And you know, it was the best thought I could have had. Because the 15 years since have been the fullest 15 years that I've ever had. Yes, I've been working for spirit more. But you know, I made that happen because of the way I viewed that time. So I ask you to consider what the reading said. Use this time to build that light within. But don't only keep it for those who come into church on a Sunday, because it's every day. A belief, a religion, is not a badge that we take off on a Sunday and put back on next Sunday to go into church. It's every day. It's the day when you walk in the supermarket and the cashier is having a bad day. Do you take it out on her, or do you wish her well? The man that you see walking down the street that has no home, do you curse him, or do you wish him well? You see, this acceptance of spirit, that you see there are others, perhaps on a different journey, but just as vital as you. I will conclude by saying, cruelty is not normal. Hatred is not normal. Love is normal. Kindness is normal. But simply knowing this is not enough. It must be shared. It must be practiced sometimes, and sometimes the smallest can lead to the greatest of change. That's the responsibility we have in this world today. So I ask you to go out into the world and make your own little world that perfect place. Radiate that light and love and really make a difference. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robin, for those very, very inspiring words. And I particularly picked out of Robin's address, shine the light. And that ties in beautifully with the ethos of the principle that I based my reading upon today, which is the brotherhood of man, the practical brotherhood of man, as we at Wimbledon Spiritualist Church refer to it. And the practicality, meaning that we are not only aware of the fact that we as spiritualists have seen the light, but that we offer that light to whoever we come into contact with. And that, for me, absolutely epitomizes the practicality aspect of the brotherhood of man. So thank you very much, Robin. And just before Robin gives us his demonstration of mediumship, I would ask that if a spirit communicator is drawn to you with a message, church members, please respond with a clear yes or no to the statement. Or if in doubt, just say, I'm not sure, and Robin can then ask Spirit for further clarification. It's important for him to hear your voice, as this is the conduit of energy which Spirit need to make a strong connection. And please, can I ask all church members to speak very clearly into the handheld mic that Julian will be bringing round to you during the demonstration. Thank you, Robin.
Please remember that we need to hear your voice. It gets very lonely up here if you're talking away to yourself. And that's no point in that, because your loved ones want to speak to you, not to me. So remember, it's an energetic process and you're part of the process. All I can offer is I will give you what I get. Hopefully we'll be able to tie the ribbons and make a connection. I want to come to the lady, I need the radiator. Can I speak to you, please? Thank you. As I link with you, I've got a gentleman. He's not that tall. I'm 6'5". He doesn't feel that tall. He stands about just below normal height with me.
Okay.
I know this gentleman has a problem in his chest, please.
Yes.
I know I don't know whether this is emphysema, but I've got this real problem in my chest as I'm sitting here. I know he's a close contact of yours because I can feel the love that he makes as he comes in. I know that at the end of his life, he became very frustrated because he couldn't do things. Would you understand or know that?
Yes.
Because this is a man who was very practical in his ways, but he gets very frustrated when he can't do what he wanted. I know that he used to smoke because I can actually smell it.
Yes.
And I know this was part of his problem. Would you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Because he's laughing about it and he says, I get away with it now. Because I know that before his passing, he would have been told he shouldn't.
Yes.
But he still used to go out and have the sly cigarette. Okay.
Okay.
Bless him. He's still enjoying his cigarettes, I've got to say. I know there's a great bond of love with you because I can just feel it. I know there's this, you know, when we have relatives, friends, love, sometimes it's a bit strained, but with this gentleman, I can just feel this flood of love between you and
Thank
he.
you.
And I know that you had a very special bond with this gentleman.
I did, yes, yeah.
I'm trying to get into his personality. He wasn't the tidiest of people. Would you understand that?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Because it doesn't feel very ordered the way he's working here. And it's like I'm jumping about a bit. And I think this is the way his mind would work.
Okay.
Like I would jump from thing to thing.
Yes.
And I know that in his life, he would do the same with what he was doing. He would jump from job to job and he would have 3 or 4 things on at once. So it doesn't feel like he was very organized with things as he goes through. As I'm talking to him, I've got a lady stands next to him who's slightly smaller than him.
Okay.
She has dark hair.
Yes.
She's quite a slender lady. She's not a big lady. I just got to recognize that she's here. I'm going to stay with the gentleman. He feels very paternal, I've got to say, as he's talking here. So would you understand him to be father, please?
Grandfather.
Grandfather. Fine. I just know that I've got this paternal feeling. Now, if he was grandfather, I know that he would have had something to do with your bringing up, please.
He did, yes.
Because it feels like it's more than just a grandfather that you saw once in a week. It feels like there's more involved with him. Did he have a habit of whistling, please? Can you remember?
I think he did actually.
Yeah, because he's standing here, and while I was talking about the lady, he was whistling like while he's waiting to be spoken to. So he's a lovely character, I've got to say. I'm going to bring the lady in now. The lady I've got problems in my legs, please.
Yes.
I've got real pains in my legs as she comes in, and I'm holding on to this like I need to hold on to it because I know that my legs will be weak at the end, please.
Yeah.
It's funny because she seems very precise. Okay. Feels like I would have had a routine and washing on Monday, ironing Tuesday. It's that sort of feeling with this lady.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that you've been looking at photographs of this couple, please.
I have actually.
I know because she talks about you looking at photographs of them.
Yeah.
But you're looking at not only the older photographs, there's some of them when they were younger that you've been looking at.
Yeah.
And it's the younger ones she brings my attention to. Is there one, and I don't know whether this is a backyard or a yard, but I've got a window and it looks like walls, and there's the 2 and somebody young standing with them. There's 3 people in this photograph.
I've got 2 people in a photograph.
All right. Not 2 people and a little girl.
Not a little girl, a grown-up girl.
Right. I've got 2 people and a girl in the photograph, and it looks like I was brought up in a terrace house. We had a yard. It looks like the backyard with a window behind and a door on the side here. She's shown me this photograph, and this is quite a time in her life. That's why she's gone back there.
Okay, it could be in a different house actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've asked them why they're here, and she's just said, we're here because we want to know that we're with her. So I said, why? And she said, she's struggling at the moment. Would you understand that?
Yes.
And I know that you've been asking for help from Spirit.
Yes.
And they've answered the call. That's what she's talking about. Would you understand if I said to you that there are times when you make yourself more vulnerable, please?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, because that's what she's talking about how you make yourself feel more vulnerable. And it's almost like she wants you to toughen up a bit. Okay.
Too. Yeah.
Toughen up a bit. It's really important. Did she used to sing nursery rhymes to you, please?
When I was little, yes.
Okay, because she's here and I can hear her singing Mary, Mary, quite contrary. And I know this is a memory link to go back to when you were smaller, please.
Yes, yeah.
Because she still sees you as that little girl. And that's why she talked about your vulnerability. That's what she saw.
Yes.
She saw that little girl. know that they're there and know that the strength that they have is there. Okay? Because this gentleman, although at the end he was incapacitated by this chest problem, he was a strong man
Yes, he was.
and he had strong views.
Very
And if
much so.
anybody stood up to him, he would face them out. Okay. And
Yeah.
he's saying it's about time we face things out. Okay.
Yes.
About
Yeah.
time it's faced out. Did he have a problem with one of his hands, please?
Not too sure about that one.
Okay. Because I've just got something going on with my hand as I'm
Okay.
talking to him. There's something not right with my hand.
Okay.
He didn't lose a bit of his hand or something.
He may have done. He was a butcher. He
Right,
was-
because it feels like there's a bit
Done.
cut off. Okay, that's fine. You don't remember,
Yeah,
but I just know I've got something with my, and it's my right
Yeah.
hand that's the problem. I want to give you their strength and their love
Thank
more
you.
than anything.
Thank you.
And when you're awake at 3 a.m. in the morning, which you often are, listen for their voice, because I know that they've been talking to you. Would you understand that? You said, listen to their voice. Okay. And I can see the clock with 3 a.m. spot on
Yeah.
time. And it seems like it's a regular meeting.
It is actually. Yeah.
Okay.
It is. Yeah.
They're both there.
Thank you.
She's just gone in a handbag and brought out a bag of, looks like mint humbugs.
Okay.
Did she carry
She did.
mint humbugs in a bag? Because she's
Used to
just come
carry
in about this
mints.
paper bag. That's her giving to her little girl. So thank you for allowing me to work
Thank
with
you
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I want to come to the lady in the green scarf. Thank you. Me. Yes, I like me. Me's a good name.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't mind me working with you?
No, of course not.
Okay.
Thank you.
So as I link with you, I've got a lady. She doesn't feel old. I'm sort of feeling 45, 50. She's not telling me her age, and it's not right for her to ask a lady her age, but I'm around that age, please.
Okay.
I know that she passes with an illness condition, and as I'm feeling at the moment, it feels like a cancer condition, please.
Okay.
I know
Yes.
that she's a connection with you, and she feels a close connection with you.
Yes.
This lady knows she's in touch with her emotions, because as she comes forward, I can feel the tears welling up,
Yeah.
because I know she was a lady that showed her emotion,
Yes.
and she's showing her emotion because she's linking with you.
Okay.
Because she's just said to me, it's long overdue. I don't know whether
Yes.
she hasn't spoken to you for a while or from spirit, but she says it's long overdue that
I
we
have been
talk.
worried. I haven't heard. Yeah.
She's here. She wants you to know she's here. And she said everything's back where it should be, which is a really funny thing for her to say.
Right.
But would you understand her saying that?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know whether the treatment or something took
Yeah.
things away from her. She
Yes.
says, and she
Yeah.
laughs at it. She's quite embarrassed about this, because she said, well, everything's back where it should be.
Good.
Okay. Was it a cancer condition, please?
Yes.
Would you understand you being worried about somebody else may have, or worried about a medical condition with somebody, please?
Yes. There is someone else. Yeah.
Because she's actually saying, don't worry, it's not what I had.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
She's very forceful about it. Don't worry, it's not what I had.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's one worry you can tick off. It's not,
Okay.
not that. But whoever this is already investigation. Would you understand that?
Well, it could either be me or someone else in
Right.
the family.
Have you had medical investigation?
Yeah, a while back. Yeah.
She's talking about you.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
she's talking about you because she's just told me.
Yeah.
Okay. All will be good.
Okay. Good.
All will be good. she has the child with her. Would you understand a child that was lost to spirit, please?
Yes.
Because she's talking about having the child with her, and I can't see whether it's a girl or boy at the moment,
Okay.
but I know that she's got the child, and you know, I think she would spoil the child rotten.
She would have done. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, she is. Not would have, she is. Because I know this is a real pleasure for her.
Yeah. Okay.
She says you're fanatical about throwing things out. Is that right?
I have been lately. I hope you're
Right.
not complaining.
No, she's not complaining. She just thinks it's rather funny that you'd become fanatical about throwing things out.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't say that.
There's a reason behind it.
Can I just say, I will
Yeah.
paraphrase what she said.
Go on.
She said she's trying to throw out the past.
Yes.
Okay. She didn't say it that way. She's put a few more words in there,
Yes.
so I have to take those out.
Yeah.
But she's saying you're throwing things out that remind you or are connected with the past.
Yes.
And it's a new beginning, and it's a blessing, she's just said.
Good. Yes. Yes.
It's really important, you know, it's a blessing.
Good.
I
Okay.
know it's been a struggle, she says, but it's the best thing.
Yeah.
Okay. But she's just said, make sure you don't throw everything out because you'll want to remember later.
That's
There you go.
true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't
Okay.
throw everything out because you may want the memories later.
Yeah.
I've got this dog running around as well,
Yes.
which has taken my attention. It's a light, it's like piebald. Would you understand that? It's different colours.
Yes.
It's not a plain colour, it's a light and blotchy colour, so I can see it running up and down the aisle
Yeah.
here. It's a bit mad.
Yeah.
Okay, a bit scatty.
Good.
Because it's going zooming around this church, having a great time.
Good.
It's just taking my attention away from where I
I
should
was
be.
thinking about the dog the other
Right.
day. Yeah.
Well, it's here. It's here. Do you know you have these, I don't know whether they're glass or plastic, like a paperweight that's got a rose in it, please? Or can you remember one that she had?
The rose is significant.
Because she's just put this thing in front of me and it looks like a rose that's been put in glass or plastic or something to save it.
She loved paperweights. I
Right.
do have a paperweight, but
Right.
her name is similar to Rose.
Right, that's fine. She just put this rose in a paperweight, and I know it's sitting in
Yeah,
front of me here.
okay.
So that as long as you understand what she's trying to get across,
Yeah.
she's doing that for you. She's very bossy.
Yes.
Okay, she's very bossy. She's saying you should be careful where you put your rings, please.
Yes.
Have you lost one? Or have you
keep
misplaced
losing
it?
I
You keep losing it
and
because she's
finding it. Yeah.
she's just saying, just be careful where you're putting the rings because you're going to lose it.
She used to say that a lot.
All right. Well, she's still saying it.
Yeah.
She's just watching your back. Okay.
Good.
She's just watching your back. Where you live,
Yes.
you're looking out and there's a perimeter fence.
Yes.
Would you understand that?
Yes.
And you've been looking at something either on the fence or beyond the fence.
Yes.
And you've stood there for ages looking at it.
Yes.
Because she's saying, I stand with her when she's looking over the fence. So, okay. She spends time with you. Know that.
Good. Good.
Okay.
I've been keeping check on a neighbour.
Right. She's
Not in a bad way.
no, that's fine. She said she's there when you're looking over the fence. So that's all well. Did she have a bit of a attention span problem? Because it's like she's just jumped and she's like, I'm nearly gone here. I've done what I've said to be.
No, maybe she just has said what she's.
Yeah, it just feels like I've done my best. I'm just stepping
Yeah.
back here. But please know that she comes with love.
Thank you.
Please know that she watches what you do
Okay.
and she's in total support of you.
Thank you.
Oh, just a minute. She's just come back again. She wants to thank you. She says she put her life on hold for me. Would you understand that?
Yeah.
That's why she pulled back, because she was getting emotional, and she's just come back full flight, and she said, thank her for what she did,
Thank you.
because you put your life on hold, which affected your life, please. She
Yeah.
said she had to pick her life back up again, and it was in pieces, please.
Yeah.
And she's saying she will be eternally grateful.
Just need to be.
Yeah, well, she will be, and she is.
Thank you.
One of the rings, does it have a stone in it?
Oh, yes, that's
It-
significant.
Is the stone a little bit loose, please?
I don't wear that ring.
Doesn't matter whether you wear it or not.
I'll have
Is
to
the
check.
check that, because she's it feels like it moves. It's not set
Right.
properly.
Okay.
Okay, so have
I'll
a look.
check that out.
Don't lose
I
the
keep
stone.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So thank you for allowing me to
Thank
work with
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thank you. Just trying to work out where my next victim is. I want to come to the gentleman just there. Thank you. Yes, me.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
As I link with you, I've got a lady who links with you. She's quite a full-figured lady, but she's certainly not as tall as me, but she's not very tall, but she's a fuller-figured lady.
Hmm.
She feels like she's a close link with you, because I know that she's got a very strong nature. Let me put it that way. Would you understand that? Or would you understand?
I have known round people in my life,
Right,
but I
Well-
can't think who it might be. I'm sorry.
right. It's within the family. And if this isn't
Oh.
mother, it's grandmother, please.
I never knew any of my grandparents.
That's fine. I don't mind that. So your mom wasn't a fuller figure lady?
No.
No,
Oh,
right.
she's alive. as
Right,
well.
that's fine.
Yeah.
I've got this maternal link. She's a fuller figured lady. I know that she's a force to be reckoned with. Now, you may have heard stories about her, but I know that she wouldn't take no for an answer if she didn't believe it. It's that sort of feeling, because she's not giving up here.
Hmm. I can't think of anyone.
Okay. Have you talked with your family about your grandparents and such? Have you ever?
Oh, yeah, great length.
Right.
I'm a family historian.
Okay. So do you know if your grandmother was a very strong-willed lady, please?
On my father's side, I believe she was very strong-willed.
Almost matriarch. This is how
Oh.
I'm feeling this lady.
Yes.
Okay. Because she's not moving, I've got to say.
I met her once when I was 4.
Right,
She
so
died.
yeah. I think she could be a bit scary. Okay. I think if I was a 4-year-old, I would be scared of her, I'll tell you now. But I know she's got a strength with her.
Yeah.
Okay. And she's here for a reason. She's not going to back off. So let me just work
Yep.
with this.
Yep.
She's talking about you, and forgive me. She says you're a gentle giant. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And there are times when you've been less than forthright with people. Would you understand that?
Less than forthright. Oh, yes, that's what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah, for the sake of peace.
Absolutely. But did it bring peace? Because
Not necessarily,
No.
no.
she's just given me the impression that it's about time to stand up and be counted. Okay.
Bang on.
That's what she's saying. It's about time you
Bang
stood
on.
up and be counted. Okay. And I don't think, as big as I am, I don't think she would have any truck with having a go at me.
Right, okay.
That's-
My apologies on her behalf.
No, that's fine. No, I love her spirit. I
Oh,
love her
great,
spirit.
great.
I know that she was the one that held the family together. Would you understand that?
Absolutely.
Because it feels like a partner, your grandfather, was more of a nature like you than, and she's very much the one that is holding things together here.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fitting, yeah.
I also know there was a period of time when he wasn't around. So whether this was service or whether it was work or whatever, because I know that she kept things boiling.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah,
She
great.
kept things boiling.
He was in the Royal Navy.
Okay, that's fine. But I just know that she is the dominant figure of the family. And
Wow. Yeah,
she
absolutely.
hasn't changed. Okay.
Bang on.
They love giving me photographs, and reminds me, do you remember Les Dawson?
Absolutely.
Well, she's standing in this photograph like this, and I can see it quite plainly. And it's an old photograph, and she's got the pinafore on the front because I can see it's like flowered, and she's standing like this, like take my photograph up
Right.
here. And I know that photograph is still here. So whoever's got all the photographs in the archive,
Mm.
have a look.
I'll have a look,
Okay.
yeah.
There's only her on this photograph. She might have something over her hair as well. I don't know whether it might be a hairnet or
Uh-huh.
a scarf or something, but she's got something over her hair
Not
as
a
well.
hat,
So have a look.
Yeah, well,
Have a look. She just wants you to understand that sometimes you have to speak out. Okay. Because not necessarily being quiet and calm and peaceful will bring you the result that you need. Okay.
yes.
And she's not saying you have to go out there and be a hellraiser. That's not what she's saying. But you know where there's a situation where you've got to stand up for yourself.
Uh-huh.
And she's saying it's about time you did. She's getting very finger pointing here.
Really? God,
Which is not my nature, but she's getting me there.
that's telling you.
Yeah, she's getting really excited here. Now, you've told me that you're the bit of the family historian. Is that
Yes, very much, yeah.
right? Okay. Would the family have not come from here originally?
Yeah, there's I have a Maltese side and English side.
Right, okay, because she's talking about them all not coming from here.
Yeah, that's the grandmother I think it might be.
Right, okay.
I
She's
believe it is. Yeah.
talking about not coming from here, so
Yeah.
that's fine. She didn't tell me Malta, I will openly admit, but
Yeah.
she's saying, I'm not from here, so.
Okay.
Have you tried to trace her family, sir?
Yes.
And have you come against a brick wall, please? Because it feels like I've got so far and then it's like I can't get any more information.
As far as names and dates, I've done that, but as far as understanding who they were and what they did,
Right,
not so
okay.
much.
Okay, because it just feels like there's more to be invited. There's more to be found.
Great.
She's taken me on. Now you said Malta. She's showing me a map and she's drawing on the map where it is. So I know the capital is there and she's going inland from the capital and up a little bit. That's all I can say because I can see the map. Would you understand? Inland town, not the capital, but outside of the capital, please.
Well, if it's the connection to the tiny island I'm thinking of, nowhere is very far from anywhere else.
Okay.
I mean, it's a really small island, so you've got a lot of coast.
So it begins with MAR something. I can just see that on the map. It's not Master Scala or...
Oh, well done. I could be Moster. Well,
I've got M. I know M is the
wow.
beginning of it. So I'm so that
The place is
okay. So what she's actually showing me, so she's trying to get me there.
Yeah,
She's showing me this huge building with a dome on the top of it.
Moster.
Is it?
Yeah.
Moster.
It's world
is the dome.
famous. It's the third largest dome in the world.
Right, that's
For
fine.
a church, yeah.
She's just shown me this building with this big dome on the top of it, and it stands above all the buildings, the low buildings next to it.
That's it.
Okay, that's where she's showing me. Okay.
Right.
So she's taken me there for a reason. So there must be more investigation to be done from there.
Okay. Incredible.
Do you know if her relatives had something to do with stonemasonry?
They were carpenters.
Because she's showing me this building being built out of blocks of stone. This is what she's showing me.
With the same building with the dome.
No. This is, I'm trying to find out where she's taking me with this. So there's somebody in the family must have either worked with stone or with buildings because she's showing me this building being built.
Yeah, all I know that her father was an artisan and a carpenter.
Right. Okay. Don't be surprised if it didn't involve stonework as well. Okay, because she's showing me this stonework.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, and it's a sandy coloured stone.
that's
I've
right.
got- Yeah,
Maltese stone, yeah.
right, okay. Know that she's strong, know that she's with you, okay? And I'll just reiterate what she said earlier, time to stand up, okay? Time to stand up and be counted, okay?
Yeah.
So I will give that with her love and blessings.
Thank you. It's moved me.
Okay.
I know what's going on.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Got to come over this. I'm stuck over here. Got to come over here. Can I come to the lady that's near the back, please? Yes? Yes, me. Yes. I like me's. You know, somewhere in the world,
Thank
there's
you.
always a me that will take a message. So, can I speak to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, certainly.
I have a gentleman that's connected with you, and as I'm standing here, I know he went through an illness process because I'm suddenly feeling really quite shaky, please. Let me give some more. I'm just having to ask him to pull back a bit here because I'm going to go down on the floor if I'm not careful. I've got a gentleman. He's about 5'5", 5'6", because he's about 3 inches taller than my shoulder. So he's not a big man.
Okay, yeah.
I know that in his illness process, he became very weak, please, because I can't stand up at the moment and I think I'm going to pass out. I don't know whether he had blackouts or that sort of thing, but it feels very fragile here.
Yes, yes.
And I know I would try my best to do what I could, but sometimes it was to my detriment, please.
Yeah.
Because I know that if I push myself, I could do some of the normal things, but then it got too much for me and I would be,
Yes.
because I can feel my legs going at the moment. And it's just well, they're trembling actually, just to move across here. And that
Yes.
he hasn't got it now, but this is his sort of sign on. This is what I was like. But you know, as I link into this man, his personality is, he didn't let things get him down. Would you understand that?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Would you understand a personality that people would like to be in his company? Please?
Yes.
Because it feels like I could just talk and people would just come and sit with me.
Yes.
And I know that at the end, there were people still visited him, but there weren't as many as it was when he used to go out with them. Seems like my friend circle cut down
Yeah.
as my illness progressed, but he still liked companies. Feels like whenever there was anybody there, he was on form.
Yes.
And he would wait until they go and he would just like, I'm glad they've gone because I can now be who I am. Okay.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I'll say this of him. He won't say it. This is a brave man.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I know that I didn't want people to know what was going on with me. I know that in the initial stages, I didn't tell anybody what was going on.
No.
And I know that as things progressed, he kept a lot of the pain, a lot of the troubles that he had to himself.
Yeah.
And it was only when people realized how advanced it was that the whole story came out.
Yes.
He loves you dearly, I've got to say. He loves you
Thank
dearly.
you.
Oh, how funny. He's just taken away all of that instability and he's standing upright and like a fine citizen. Would you? It's like, I've just washed all that away because he wants to come and talk to you. He's just said he's been there when the tears have been flowing.
Okay.
And you didn't feel his gentle touch. But he wants you to know that he is there or was there when you went through this process of emotion.
Okay.
He says you've had to pick your life back up together. Would you understand that?
Yes.
And it's still not all there. Would you understand that?
Yes.
And it seems sometimes really hard to do that on your own.
Yeah.
And he's saying you've never been on your own. Okay. Did he have a tattoo on his arm, please? If not a tattoo, I've got a mark on my arm here. I can't work out what it is.
No.
I just noticed it. Okay.
No.
Do you know if his treatment was put into a cannula or something in his arm?
Yes, I think it was a long time ago, but I think so, yeah.
Would you
Yes.
remember if he had a bruise where the cannula was? Because I've got this mark on my arm here. It feels like a bruise.
I
I
don't
first of all thought
remember.
it's like a bluey purpley colour, and I thought it was a tattoo.
No, I don't remember, sorry.
Okay. It's just, I put my hand down and it was his hand and I could see this mark on his arm. So he's just brought it in for evidence. He's just keen for you to know that you're not alone. Okay. And I know that you have people around you, but you still feel very much on your own at times. And he's saying you're never alone. He's taking me back on a memory with you. Did he buy you or make you a wooden whistle, please? Can you remember? Do you know those
No.
whistles you go, like, and it's made out of wood? So he's
Yeah, I can't place that.
you can't
so-
place it.
No.
Just let it go in the memory box because he's
Okay.
taking me back to when you were younger. And he's showing me this whistle. And I'll tell you, it's got a red band around it, a yellow band around it, and a blue band around it. That's as clear as I can see it. But it's made out of wood. And he seems to remember something about it.
Okay.
It just gives me the impression when you were younger, if you wanted something, you wanted it. Okay. There was no going back. If you wanted it, you were going to get it, and you would kick up until you got it. Okay. And I think this was one of the things. He's calling it penny whistle, but it's a wooden whistle. Okay.
Okay.
That's why he's doing it. He's saying to me, you haven't lost that. You should stick by it. Would you understand him saying that? That you have to make sure you get what you want to get.
Yes, I do, yeah.
Okay, stick by it. It's important. Don't give up
No, okay.
and kick and scream if you don't. he's goading you. Okay, kick and scream until you get what you need. Okay.
Okay.
So he's supporting you with whatever's going on with you.
Thank you.
Do you have a bracelet or a chain that belongs to a lady, please, in spirit?
No.
It doesn't look like a long chain if it's a neck chain, but it's a bracelet. And it's just a chain.
I can't place that at the moment, no.
She's insisting. Check your jewelry box, please,
I will.
because you've got all sorts in there, haven't you?
Yes, yeah.
Even the chains that are broken are in there, aren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's talking about it. He said it needs to sort out. But there's one that is a chain that belonged to this lady that I've got here. Okay. And I know she's connected to the gentleman. Okay.
Okay.
Because he just walked in behind him and just took over. I know that they're connected. But check your jewelry box.
I will, thank you.
Because there's a chain, it feels a fine chain, but it's only big enough for a wrist, not big enough for a neck.
Okay.
And I know it belonged to her. She just wants to remind you.
Thank you.
I know my chain's getting a bit, he wants me to finish, so I was there. Thank you for allowing me to give the
Thank
connection
you
to
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And please just remember one thing. We accept that life continues because of the evidence we receive from Spirit. If today or any other day we have sufficient that we can accept life continues, we then have a responsibility, and that responsibility is quite easy. We'd like to work towards the day when mediums aren't necessary. But that means you have to talk to your loved ones. You have to think about them, because ultimately that's the only way that you bring them close. So the homework for this week is just remember to spend that moment to connect with your loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robin, for an excellent demonstration this morning. And I just have some notices before we close the service. Our guest medium on Sunday, March the 9th at 11 a.m. is Pauline Walsh. The Healing Clinic, Animals Included, is every Tuesday, 7 until 8:15 p.m. and Thursday, 10 a.m. until 12 noon for members of the community and, as I said, animals as well. You will be greeted by our healer practitioners in a safe, friendly and welcoming atmosphere. Free will donations apply. Friendship Club is every Wednesday, 11:30 until 2 p.m. in church. This coming Wednesday, March the 5th, we have the first of our Friendship Club new monthly afternoon demonstrations of mediumship from 1 until 2 p.m. And this week's guest is Mary Dixie. The admission is £5, and we welcome anyone who would like to attend the Friendship Club and or the standalone demonstration. Please check weekly postings on the Wimbledon Spiritualist Church main Facebook page or the group page for further information about Friendship Club every week. An advance notice, our next open platform, led by myself, Phil Shaw, is at 6:45 for 7 p.m. prompt start on Thursday, April the 17th. That's a future note for your diary. This is a perfect opportunity for working and developing mediums to practice, sharpen their evidential mediumship, psychic art, inspirational speaking, and platform presentation skills in a nurturing and encouraging environment. Meantime, if you have any questions or you would like to join the mailing list, please contact me for further information on my Facebook page at Phil Shaw Spiritualist Medium or email me on philesoteric@gmail.com. Crystal healing is available at Wimbledon and Hackbridge Spiritualist Churches with Rachel Davis. This is a perfect system to rebalance, re-energize, and relax the mind, body, and spirit. So if you are interested, please phone Wimbledon Church to book an appointment. News about some forthcoming demonstrations. We have a special Friends Evening at Hackbridge Church with a double demonstration of mediumship with Teresa Thatcher and Ashley Robinson on Friday, March the 21st at 7:30. The entry is £5 and the advance booking link is available on our Facebook pages. New for Wednesday evenings. We are starting a series of Wednesday evening demonstrations of mediumship on the last Wednesday of every month from March through to September. And on March the 26th at 7 p.m, we have as our guest medium Ray Prendergast. And that will start at 7 o'clock. The admission is £5. And again, advance booking links are available on our Facebook pages. There is also a demonstration of mediumship with Ivan Lee here at Wimbledon on Sunday, March the 30th, 7 p.m, £6.50 admission and advance booking link again available on our pages. So hot off the press, Dawn Collinson will be starting an open circle for developing mediums. This is a perfect opportunity to deepen your connection with spirit in a supportive and welcoming environment. She starts on March the 13th, continues on the 27th, and then subsequent dates are April the 10th and the 24th. And this is at 7 p.m. Further dates are to be announced on our Wimbledon Facebook pages. The cost is £7 per person per evening, and you are most able to pay on the night. So there's no need to register or make any advance payment. Please keep up to date with our activities and special events, courses, workshops and demonstrations on our Facebook pages and Instagram, where you will find links to pre-event booking facilities. Thank you. And I will now ask Robin to close our service in prayer.
Friends, just join me in a moment's prayer. Divine and infinite Spirit, we thank you for this opportunity of joining together, for the light and love those who bring from the world of spirit. We simply ask that we might retain some of that love, that we will share it with those we meet in the days and weeks to come. We ask that those who minister the church will be given all they need to keep its doors forever open. Help us to be satisfied with the past and all it has taught us, to be content with the present and all that we have, but more so be hopeful for the future and all it promises to bring. Amen.
Thank you again, Robin, for a beautiful service this morning. It's always a pleasure to welcome you to Wimbledon. And I'd just like to close us out on a piece of writing by the poet Rumi. Sorrow prepares you for joy. It violently sweeps everything out of your house so that new joy can find space to enter. It shakes the yellow leaves from the bough of your heart so that fresh green leaves can grow in their place. It pulls up the rotten roots so that new roots hidden beneath the room can grow. Whatever sorrow shakes from your heart, far better things will take their place. Thank you, everyone.